Welcome to School Talk. Today I'm excited to have several district employees here with me today, as well as a business partner. So ladies, let's begin by just having you introduce yourself to me and tell me what you do.
Hi, my name is Beth Custer, Ellis, and I'm an employment job specialist with Rock Hill School District, and I work from Northwestern High School.
Great, thank you for being
Yes,
here.
thank you.
Hey, I'm CJ Youngblood. I'm the general manager at the Burger King across from Northwestern High School.
Thank you.
Hi, I am Brenda Graham, and I am the District Transition Coordinator, and I deal with school to work, moving our students to what happens when they leave school.
Well, I thank all of you for being with me today. One of our State Superintendent Molly Spearman's goals is that we make sure that we provide an opportunity for all of our kids to be college, career, and citizenship ready. And that is also one of our goals in Rock Hill School District. We want to make sure that students are able to transition from elementary school to middle, from middle to high, and then that final transition when they leave us to college, careers, or into citizenship. So tell me a little bit about what you do with our students.
Ms. Graham could probably speak more on the beginning of it, and I can kind of bring
Great.
you in on the end of it.
All right, Ms. Graham, go ahead.
Well, so our school to work program actually starts very early. It starts in elementary school, and we do what we call community-based instruction activities, and it's just getting our students used to being out in the community, accessing those community resources, and being a good citizen. And we take them out in elementary school, and then we take them out as a class also in middle school. But then when they get to high school, we start moving them towards independence. And so what we do as freshmen, typically they will have some sort of in-school work that they're doing to where they're highly supervised and they're still in the school, but they're independent instead of being just in a classroom. At 10th and 11th grade, we do off-campus instruction out in the community, and that's where our business partners come in. We do training at lots of nonprofits in the area, YMCA, the York County Animal Shelter, Pilgrims Inn, and Hospice Community Care Resale Shop are some of the ones that are right at the tip of my head there. And then after they build those skills, we move them into paid employment. And the idea is by senior year that they are working somewhere in our community, being productive for class credit.
And I don't know which one of you can answer this for me, but one of the things that our businesses tell us is the fact that we need to really work on our soft skills with students, having them be able to look us in the eye when they speak, knowing when it's appropriate to use technology and not use technology. Are there things that you do before our students get into a job that helps them with those soft skills?
That's where I come in as an employment coach. We work at school with them on building resumes, filling out applications, doing interviews at school that are mock interviews to get them comfortable with speaking at an interview, making eye contact, firm handshakes, all the things that sometimes now, because we do have technology, our students are not used to that one-on-one eye-to-eye contact because a lot of stuff is done more on iPads and applications are done more online now. So we work with them at school to do that, so when they do go for the actual interview with the person one-on-one, that they will make that eye contact, know how to speak, how to present themselves, and to have a resume. So that's part of what we do as a job coach. And then in the community, we give them the support that they need to be successful for after high school.
That's great. And Burger King is a partner of ours, and we certainly appreciate that. Tell us a little bit about what you do with the students that you receive from our schools. What are some of their roles? How do you select those students?
A lot of the times it depends on what they're more qualified to do. When Beth brings me students, normally she kind of tells me where they would be stronger at. Like with the student we just hired on, he's very, very friendly, happy, he's coordinated, so we keep him on the line where he'll have that face-to-face contact. So as a company, it's really great to have the kids in there. That way we know that they're getting the experience that they need to go out into the real world. So we're kind of that first stop for them, which is great. We're glad to be a part of it.
And what feedback? I'm assuming that being a business partner and working with with Beth, how do you give them feedback on things that maybe our students are doing well, but maybe things that they need to work on? Do they go back to school and continue that learning based on the feedback?
Absolutely, I believe so, because normally I stay in constant contact with Beth. We have in the past with other students. And then she kind of gets with them and I think works with them on things that they may need to progress more on.
And we monitor each student while they're off campus. We do have an evaluation that we ask the employers and the job coaches to fill out on each student. Since they are earning school credit while they're off campus, we monitor their soft skill behaviors and their productivity and things of that nature while they're on the job.
So, and we know Burger King is one of our partners, and you mentioned a couple of others. If a business wants to be a partner, what do they need to do to be able to participate in this program?
They can contact any of our high schools. Each of us has our job coach at Northwestern, South Point, and Rock Hill High, or they could contact Ms. Graham directly. We'll be able to call them back, talk to them, explain our program to them, come out and meet them face to face, and let them know what we do, because we do have paid and unpaid. And the unpaid is where they just get hands-on training in the community and get them ready to go to work. And then we have competitive employment where Miss Keavy Johnson, one of our students, he goes directly to work and he's paid for that. So there's several programs that we can benefit from as well as the community.
We talked a little bit before we began today about students who have actually graduated from school that are still working. Any success stories that you want to share with us about any student that has gone through your program and then been able to transition into a permanent job once they left our schools?
I would love to brag on quite a few, but one in particular was from our inaugural class that graduated in 2004, and he is still working at the same job 11 years later, and I get to see him frequently because he works for Aramark, which is a food service company, so I get to see him in the community a lot. And I think, Beth, can you?
Yeah. We have probably about 75% rate of our students that complete our program that go to work after high school and they stay on that same job. Eric, I won't say his last name, but he was one of my first students, and he was placed while he was in 11th grade. He's still at the same job. We have once a guy at Walmart that's still at the same job. They don't usually leave. Most of the time our students stay wherever they start out at it when they leave high school.
Well, I want to thank the three of you for being with me today, and thank you for what you're doing for our students. You certainly are meeting the goals of our state superintendent of helping students transition into the world of work as well as ours. And I think that when we come back, we're actually going to talk with one of your students,
Yes,
Keavy Johnson. So we're looking forward to that. And again, thank you so much for being with me today.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
And we'll be back in just a few minutes to talk with Keavy. Today I get to have an opportunity to talk with one of our students, Keavy Johnson, who is at Northwestern High School. Keavy, tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell me what school you go to, what grade.
I go to Northwestern High School and I'm in the 11th grade.
We just finished talking with someone who works at Burger King, and I think you are working at Burger King right now. Tell me a little bit about your job and what you're getting to do.
At Burger King, I'm wiping down tables and I'm doing the cash register.
So is it hard to run the cash register?
It was, but I got used to it.
You got used to it. That's great. One of the things that we're wanting to do is make sure that our students are ready for the working world when they leave high school. Has the experience that you have at Burger King, do you feel like that's preparing you for a job when you leave school?
Yes, ma'am. It's a good experience for me for the real world. So, yeah.
Can you tell me some things? I know that at Northwestern you have had the chance to learn some things that would help you at Burger King. What are some things that your teachers have taught you in preparation for going to work?
They show us we must have eye contact with anybody that we meet, whatever. Yep.
That's great. That's real important. Some of our employers will tell us, we call those soft skills, that students struggle to look us in the eye, and they struggle to say yes and no, and you do that really well. So your teachers have done a great job
You gotta
with
have
that.
a strong handshake.
Strong handshake, absolutely. And I think, did they also teach you about completing a resume,
Yeah.
filling out an application? So did they help you with that in going to Burger King? Was that some of what you did, is fill out the application and go through an interview?
Yes, ma'am.
Was the interview
You can't,
hard?
and yeah, you can't put family members on. You gotta like use like you can use a friend as a reference or a job coach or anyone else.
So you can't use your family members.
Yeah,
So
you
you've
can't.
got to make sure you've got people who know how hard you will work, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, before the camera started rolling, you and I were talking about what you want to do when you graduate from Northwestern. So tell me again what you're wanting to do when you leave Northwestern.
I plan to go to the Art Institute to design video games.
And I think you told me you've already designed a video game or two. Tell me what you've designed.
Right now, I'm designing an ATC class over here, cartoon characters.
So you're actually taking an ATC
Yes,
course,
ma'am.
and you're
Yeah.
doing cartoon characters. What's the hardest part about creating a video game?
By getting the picture by getting the actual figure on the screen.
Play a sport next year.
Oh yeah,
what's
I'm
that
gonna run
sport?
track.
You're going to run track at Northwestern your senior year.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, that's great. Well, it has been my pleasure to have the opportunity to talk with you today. You're my first student on School Talk for this year, and I wish you the very best as you continue working at Burger King, and I'm going to come order one day, do my dinner, come see you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
When we come back, Michael Frost, our new Director of Communications, will be here to talk with Mary Fishburne as we highlight successes of our alumni.
Thank you, Dr. Pugh, and I'm now joined by Mary Fishburne. She is in town this week as part of the York County Arts Council 2015 season. We'd like to highlight her as one of our alumni in our new series, My Rock Hill School District Story. Welcome, Mary.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Yeah, thank you for joining us, and tell us a little bit about your time in Rock Hill. Where did you go to school, and when did you graduate?
All right. Well, I was born and raised in Rock Hill, and I went to Ebenport, Sullivan Middle School, and Northwestern High School, and graduated in 2007.
So from that, where did your journey take you from high school to college?
So let's see. I went to Vanderbilt University in Nashville, Tennessee, where I majored in music, and also I majored in human and organizational development because I wasn't 100% sure that I wanted to do music or musical theater. So I figured I need some insurance, and I got kind of a business degree. It's the psychology of businesses and why they work and how leadership works. And through that, they required an internship of my choice for business credit for a semester. So I chose an off-Broadway internship for my business degree, which was perfect. I killed two birds with one stone. So I spent my senior year in New York, and that was when I knew that a career in the arts was definitely something I wanted to do. Admittedly, and even shamefully, after leaving New York, I was a little bit of a snob, I guess. And so I went to my first audition thinking, oh, this is so not going to be good enough. And it was for South Pacific at Dock Street Theater. And I so luckily was cast and so quickly was put in my place as someone who needed to recognize just how lucky she was to be among the talent right here in South Carolina. And that show was August 2011 and was probably one of the best experiences I've ever had, New York included. And so from there, since then, I guess, have been in about, on average, 7 or 8 shows a year. And I direct musicals. I have a group of teenagers that I lead, and they do 3 shows a year, and I teach voice privately. So when people ask what I do for a living, I'm just like, I don't really know how to sum it up, but I just know that I work really hard doing it.
Sure. So primarily that work takes place in Charleston
Yes.
at Wolf Street Playhouse, and so you mentioned a couple plays a year with a group of teenagers. What are you guys working on right now?
Well, we have Addams Family coming up for Halloween, and that's going to be a lot of fun. It's 22 teenagers, and we meet twice a week, and I direct, musical direct, and choreograph. So it's a busy Saturday.
It certainly sounds like you've got a one-man operation or certainly a small team.
Yes.
That makes it happen.
Yes.
So working with teenagers, rewind back a few years, we were there, we were sitting in high school. What challenges do you now see working with a group of teenagers in that setting?
Well, I didn't realize here at Northwestern just how unusual it was to get the training that we had. I don't know if I necessarily took it for granted, but I definitely thought that it was normal because it's what we knew when we were 16, 17, For instance, I have teenagers from all over the county, public, private, arts magnet schools, and no one can sight read as well as the worst sight reader at Northwestern when we were there. And I love this age group especially because it's such a dynamic time in life, and it's so hard to know what to do and where to go, and especially when junior year kicks in. I like to think that I can offer them some valuable advice about what maybe should be next.
And so that type of advice, what might it be for someone that you're either working with directly through your work or just a teenager that you meet and expresses an interest in musical theater?
I think that if you are not 100% sure what you want to do, no matter what it is, whether it's musical theater or medicine or plumbing or whatever it is, if you aren't 100%, even if you're just 99 and less, then you should go to the best academic school that you can get into that will make you the happiest. But if I have a student who I just can't talk out of the realm of musical theater, if they say, I want to do this, nothing but this, all day, every day for the rest of my life, then that's very different advice than the other 99% would get.
Sure. If you just thinking back to your years at Northwestern, I understand you were in Troubadours. Perhaps it was an experience as part of that class and that program that kind of lit the fire that said, this is what I want to do, at least for a little while.
Absolutely. And it was such a valuable musical education and well-rounded in music. I still, I use it almost every day, indirectly sometimes. Whether it's sight singing or whether it's musical theory when I'm trying to plunk out different harmonies on the piano, or matching a vowel for Addams Family. We end on the word night, and I'm thinking back to Miss Mixon, thinking about how vertical an ah vowel should be. But not just in Troubadours did I learn a lot that I use on a daily basis. Everything from being a part of the volleyball team and what it's like to share a goal and be a part of that ensemble. And certainly academically, I think that the education and the well-roundedness of Northwestern was unusual. So many times I have students who have to choose between my group, they're called Village Teens, or swim team. And I so badly wish for them that they can do it all, because it seems like it wasn't that exclusive when we were in high school. I mean, certainly you have to make sacrifices and decisions, but the well-roundedness of Northwestern was certainly an advantage.
Well, I certainly appreciate you being here today and taking time to be a part of our inaugural session of my Rock Hill School District story. We will enjoy throughout this year learning about our alumni and highlighting their successes and being able to celebrate along with them. So again, I appreciate you taking the time to be here today, and now I will give it back to Superintendent Dr. Pugh as she sits down with our District Teacher of the Year, Rachel Glibbery.
Thank you, Michael and Mary, and welcome back to School Talk. It's my pleasure to have this year's Teacher of the Year, Rachel Glibbery from Northwestern. Thank you for being here with me.
Thank you.
Rachel, share with me a little bit about your background, where you went to high school, where you went to college, and what made you major in secondary education English.
I went to Clover High School. I graduated in 2004. I was a teacher cadet there, and that's what really sparked this whole journey I've been on. I went to USC for a year as a teaching fellow and then transferred to Winthrop for my last 3 years. I started teaching in Rock Hill. I started as an English teacher. I originally was elementary ed. I didn't know what I wanted to major in, but I had a writing teacher my freshman year of college who really took interest in me and liked what I was writing, and it made me feel like I could be successful in English for the first time. So in high school, I didn't really feel like I had a favorite subject or that I excelled at anything, but he made me feel that way for the first time. So I switched my major and then transferred, and I finished out there at Winthrop and started at Northwestern. This is my 8th year teaching, and they've all been at Northwestern. After my second year, I had an opportunity to get certified in English as a second language. It was a program that Winthrop was offering at the time, and you could certify for free. So I signed up and started grad school the second semester of my first year teaching. So that was kind of a crazy year, but I got certified in ESL, and since then I've done a mixture of both English literature and English as a second language.
Wow, that's great. And you know, as I talk to teachers, so often I hear people say, I became a teacher because of another teacher. And so that's great that there was someone that had influence to get you there. Did you always know you wanted to be a teacher even when you were a young child?
I did. I was that bossy kid who always wanted to play school and wanted to tell people what to do, but then, you know, when you get older, you realize that that's not what teaching is necessarily about, especially during teacher cadets in high school. I really kind of got to know the ins and outs because you volunteer in classrooms, and that kept the interest going.
Right.
Yep.
That's great. Well, our back to school rally was a special day for us as a school district, but it was even more special for you that day.
Yes, ma'am.
And so I want to say
Rachel Delivery, an ESL teacher at Northwestern High School.
So I want us to go back to that day just for a minute. I don't know that I've even had a chance to talk to you since then, but as you were standing there waiting to hear who was going to be the teacher of the year and represent Rock Hill School District, what was going through your mind?
Oh, man, I was really nervous. I knew that there was a chance that I would win just because I had the additional interview, but I really knew that I was surrounded by such talent that it didn't even really register that it was going to be me. And then when they said my name, I think I hesitated for a couple seconds because it didn't register that that was actually my name and that I needed to get up and make myself move to the front. It was all very surreal, but very exciting.
And so tell us what it's been like since then. Has there been anything that you've experienced, any opportunities yet? What's in the future?
There's been a few opportunities that I have, speaking engagements. The one that I'm most excited about is going back to Winthrop when they do their teacher education induction. I'm their keynote speaker for that. And going through that education program, that's a really big honor to be able to go back and talk to those education majors, the future, the people that we're going to be working with in a few years. So that's really exciting. There's lots of conferences that I'll get to go to. I get to hear other former state teachers of the year, other district teachers of the year. So I'm really excited to be able to rub elbows with those people.
And I know Winthrop is very proud of you that one of their graduates is now our teacher of the year. That's such an honor. Tell us a little bit about the process of becoming teacher of the year. How did you even get to the point that you were one of 3 finalists? What are some of the things that you had to do?
Well, it started just at Northwestern. Our faculty members will nominate others that they believe should be teacher of the year. So we start off with a list of 12, 15 names. We go through one round of voting and they narrow it down usually to 3 or 5 people. And then we vote again. And then I found out at a faculty meeting. And it was, that day was the craziest day. My car had broken down. I had to get a ride to school. It was just, everything was going wrong. And at the end of the day, it really turned stuff around. After that, I had to write essays, 3 in total, just about teaching, about educational philosophy, about current issues in education. So I wrote those at the beginning of July. They were due, and then I didn't really hear anything until August, where I found out that I was a finalist. I went in for an interview, went shopping for a new outfit, did my interview, and then I just got to kind of sit around and be nervous until the back to school pep rally, until I found out the answer.
So now you will go before the state and
Yes,
be one of however many teachers of the year for the state. So you've got an application and a process to go
Yes.
through with that as well.
Thankfully, the way that they do the process here in the district is 3 of the essays that I've already written are part of the state application. So that's a little bit of it down that I've already got finished. And I've already started going through the application packet and doing a few things. But I've got a few more essays to write, a few more things to polish up.
Well, we wish you the very best. Rock Hill has been well represented at the state level, and we wish you the very best as you go through the process. We have a clip of you in your classroom. So share with us a little bit about what you're doing on this day with your students. What grade do you teach? What were you teaching that day?
This particular day, it was my British literature class. We were doing some introductory material for Frankenstein. So we were doing background on just the time period, the author, just general information so that we could really dig deep into the book. I really like teaching Frankenstein because there's a lot you can do with it. We do a research paper on genetic engineering after the fact. So I try to tie in other subject areas to literature so that they can see the connection between curriculum.
And I'm a former high school English teacher, so I love literature, but I know that not all of our high school students love the same literature. How do you keep your students engaged?
Well, I try to just mix it up. I don't like to stay in front of my classroom and talk to the kids. I try to give them opportunities to show where they are the best. Not every student is the best at writing papers. Not every student is the best at reading. Not every student's great at grammar, but there is something that they are awesome at, and just making sure that you have different things built in, like art projects, audiovisual technology, anything that they can show that they have a way to shine, I think is really important, and I try to do that.
What would you say is your goal this year for your students?
My goal is to help them polish up their writing, get them ready for writing that they're going to have to do in the real world, like resumes, job applications, emails to coworkers. So we're working a lot on audience and tone this year, which I think is really important in the society that we live in. Communication is quick and oftentimes informal, so helping them know the difference between when they can be informal and when they should be formal, I think is a really important skill for them to take with them to college.
So you told us at the very beginning that you're a graduate of Clover, and you're in Rock Hill Schools.
Yes.
What attracted you, we are so glad, but what attracted you to Rock Hill School District?
I did a pre-screening actually with Ozzy All, and he really talked up the school district. And just being local, I knew about Rock Hill Schools. I'd worked in Rock Hill Schools while I was at Winthrop. I actually volunteered with the English as a second language teacher at Northwestern, and I did lots of work in Sullivan Middle School. So I had lots of good hands-on experience in the district and just always got a really good vibe from it. I had an interview that I actually canceled at Clover. I kind of just wanted to make my own name for myself in Rock Hill because a lot of my family worked in the Clover School District.
So if you were going back to Winthrop, as you said, you have had the opportunity to go and talk with them, and you were talking to teachers, teacher candidates that are about to graduate. You know, in our state, and really I think in the nation, we lose a lot of teachers within the first 5 years. What are some things that you would share with them that might help them, first of all, really know the reality of teaching full-time, and helping to keep them in this great career?
I think it's really important for teachers to just not burn themselves out that first year. It's so easy to do. I remember staying at school until 6 o'clock, 6:45 some nights, and I think I would feel guilty if I didn't work super hard every night, and I felt if something didn't go as I expected in the classroom the next day that it was because I didn't stay late enough. But I think really stressing to take that downtime and to make time for yourself really keeps you mentally healthy and sharper in the classroom. And I think just making time for yourself is really important. And I also think that a really important thing for teacher education students to do is to volunteer or observe in a classroom before they really get into the program, and not just the normal classrooms that students will go observe, but a true challenging class, so they can really see the realities of what it's like to be a teacher, to see the behind the scenes and the classroom management that they'll have to deal with.
That's great advice. Well, we are so very proud of you. I thank you for being my guest today. I wish you a lot of luck for the school year, and then as you continue and compete for the State Teacher of the Year. So congratulations. Thank you for being with me today.
Thank you.
I would like to thank Devin, who is today's producer of School Talk, and Ms. Mensinger's class. Thank you for joining us for our first School Talk of the 2015-2016 school year.